Okay. Hello guys. Good day. Kamusta na kayo? Siguro naman, no? Nabuwasan na ng baha. Umupa na ng baha konti sa mga lugar ninyo. Sana safe kayo. So, online class ulit tayo for today. Recorded discussion na naman. Sana. No? Hindi ko alam kung anong gusto nyo. Online class o face-to-face classes. Kasi kung ako yung nasa lugar ninyo, mas gusto ko face-to-face classes. Kasi during this time, na online class na naman, siguro malamang sa malamang tinatamad na ako. Sana sa part nyo, sa point of view nyo, hindi kayo tinatamad, no? So let us keep that fire burning with us. Okay? Huwag tayong titigil mag-aral, magbasa, mag-practice, magsagot ng problems. Kahit sobrang nakakatamad na, sana hindi ka or panandalian lang yung tamad mo. Okay? Pahinga mo lang ng konti, tapos balik ulit tayo sa pag-aaral. Okay? Sige. So last meeting before government grants, diniscuss natin yung about sa investments. Tama. Yung investment na yon, kung maaalala mo, yung investment na yon, we are applying the standards with regards to PFRS 9. Tama. Ano to? Financial instruments. Sige. So, for today's discussion, actually, meron pang tatlong investments. Yung topic natin for today, tapos merong investment property, then merong other long-term investments, or parang pagsasamahin na siguro natin si investment property and si other long-term investments. Pero for today's discussion, let us focus dito sa isang investment na tinatawag nila. Yan yung investment in associate. Okay, investment in associate. Kapag usapang investment in associate, we are applying the standards or a standard PAS 28, Philippine Accounting Standard number 28. Okay. Balikan natin, diniscuss ko na to last week sa financial instruments natin, pero balikan lang natin. Kapag usapang investments, lagi mong tatandaan, sige, i-plot muna natin. Merong ownership. Pag nahanap mo yung ownership, merong type. Then kung anong standard yung gagamitin. Then yung classification of that investment. Tapos yung measurement. Kung paano natin siya i-measure subsequently. Sige, so ownership tayo. If the investment or yung ownership mo sa isang investor or sa isang, ikaw si investor, then meron kang ownership sa isang issuer or sa isang company, nag-invest ka sa isang company, if yung ownership mo is less than 20%, yung type of investment is a regular investment. And yung standard na ginagamit natin dyan, yung PFRS number 9. Ito yan. Financial instruments. Classifications yan, tama, investment that are measured at amortized cost, pwedeng FVPL, pwedeng FVOCI. Okay, then measurement natin at fair value. Pero yung at amortized cost, mini-measure, yung subsequently measured siya at amortized cost. Okay. Pero since usapang ownership tayo, 'di ba? Kailan ka ba magkakaroon ng ownership? Kapag meron kang share sa equity investment. Si amortized cost, saan ba to applicable? Tama, sa debt securities lang applicable si amortized cost. Kasi yung investment at FVPL and investment at FVOC ay pwede sa equity securities. So kung si amortized cost is naka-debt securities lang, lagi mong tatandaan, kapag meron ka ng ownership sa isang company, alisin mo na sa choices mo si amortized cost. That investment can never be classified as amortized cost kapag meron ka ng ownership. It's either FVPL or at FVOCI lang tayo. So, pwede mo nating alisin ito. Kuha mo yun. Sige. Nilagay ko lang si amortized cost dito kasi pinag-usapan natin si PFRS 9. Si PFRS 9, financial instruments, tatlo, amortized cost, FVPL, and FVOCI. Sige. So, kung yung ownership mo is equal to 20% but is not more than 50%. So, 20 to 50%. Yung type ng investment mo, hindi na regular investment yan kasi meron ka ng significant influence. Okay, ano yung significant influencer? Hayaan mo muna, basta significant influence muna tayo, okay? And yung standard na ginagamit mo dyan, PAS number 28. Yung classification ng investment na to is investment in associate na to. Ito yung topic natin for today. And yung measurement natin na gagamitin dito is yung equity method tayo. Okay, equity method tayo kapag usapang investment in associate. Ngayon, if the investment is more than 50%, meron ka ng control. Yung control, meron ka ng power. And yung standard na ginagamit natin, PFRS 3 or PFRS 10. Ano yan? Investment in subsidiary. Dito, consolidation na tayo. Nasa topic na ng AFAR ito, Advanced Financial Accounting and Reporting. So, i-cross out mo muna yan sa isip natin. Yan, medyo malalang topic yan, pero wag kang mag-alala. Dadali din yan kapag na-discuss na kung sino man yung instructor mo dyan. Okay, sana nga, mapadali sa'yo. Sige, so illustrate lang natin. Sino na yan dati? Si Mr. P. Kilala nyo na si Mr. P? Hindi pa rin. Si Mr. CC, kilala nyo na? Hindi pa rin. Grabe na kayo. Sige, si Mr. P nag-invest ng 2 million pesos ulit kay Jollibee. Yan, favorite natin si Jollibee, guys. Si Jollibee nag-issue ng shares. Okay, nag-issue siya ng shares. Si Jollibee, yung authorized shares niya, ulit kapag sinabing authorized shares, yan yung pwedeng shares na i-issue ni Jollibee sa mga shareholders. Sabihin na natin 100,000 shares. And yung par value of shares is at 100 pesos per share. Sir, ano yung par value? Yung par value, yan yung value ng shares. Each share, isang share, value ng isang share na kailangan bayaran ni Mr. P. Par value. Okay, yan yung nakasulat sa Articles of Incorporations. Mas i-discuss natin yan elaborately kapag nasa equity section na tayo. Malapit naman na tayo. Okay, si Jollibee, sino ulit siya? Siya si investee or sa point of view natin, investment in associate, siya ngayon yung associate. Si ABC or si Mr. P pala, sa illustration natin, siya si investor. Sabihin na natin, out of 100,000 authorized shares ni Jollibee, 20,000 yung binili ni Mr. P for 2 million pesos. Paano mo na-solve yun, sir? Kasi nga, yung par value is at 100 per share. So, 2 million, divide it by 100 pesos. Ilang shares yung binili mo? Nasa 20,000 shares. So, dito yung binigay ni Jollibee, nasa 20,000 shares. So, yung illustration natin, ha. Ulitin natin. Si Mr. P, nagbayad ng 2 million or nag-invest ng 2 million pesos kay Jollibee kapalit ng ownership or ng equity shares. Yung si Jollibee, authorized shares niya is at 100,000. Ang par value is at 100 pesos per share. Yung binigay ni Jollibee kapalit ng 2 million pesos is nasa 20,000 shares. Okay? Ngayon, question. Ilang percent yung ownership ni Mr. P kay Jollibee? So, paano mo masasolve yun? Doon sa shares, 100,000 shares. Tama. Ilan yung hawak ni Mr. P? 20,000 shares. So, try natin. 20,000 divided by 100,000. That is 20%. Tama? So, ibig sabihin, si Mr. P, si Jollibee, owned ni Mr. P, dyan is at 20%. Kuha mo yun, 20%. So, kung dito, sa classifications natin, nasaan tayo? Ito ba? Or ito, dito na, equal to 20%. So, meron na tayong significant influence. Ang standard na gagamitin natin, PAS 28, yung classification is investment in associate. Okay? Itong 20% na to, ito, yan, yung percentage na yan, these are just a presumption. Okay? Presumption lang yan ha. Paano presumption, sir? Kapag hindi sinabi na may significant influence, hindi sinabi na may power, tapos ang binigay lang is yung ownership, ang assumption mo, meron ka ng significant influence based doon sa ownership natin. Okay? Ulitin ko, presumption lang yan. Okay? Presumption lang na meron kang significant influence. Bakit? Kasi possible, number one, there is significant influence. There is a significant influence even if the ownership is less than or more than 20% to 50%. Possible yan. Okay, possible yan na meron kang significant influence pa rin. Meron kang significant influence kahit yung ownership mo hindi pumasok dito sa sabi natin sa table. Possible yan. Okay, tatandaan mo ha, possible yan. Sir, sige, ano ba ibig sabihin ng significant influence kasi? Okay, significant influence, meron kang significant influence if si Mr. P, they have the power, if they have the power to participate in major decisions, of the company. Okay, meron na siyang power na mag-participate sa major decisions ng isang company, which is in case sa illustration natin kay Jollibee. So, for example, to pa, but is not a control. Okay, paano ba yung difference ng significant influence tapos sa control? Si control, kung ano yung sinabi mo, yun na yung masusunod. Bakit? Kasi nasa sayo na yung majority votes. Meron ka ng control. Ikaw na yung masusunod. Significant influence, dito, meron ka ng say. Ulit ha, pag significant influence dito, pag sinabi mo, pakikinggan ka na. Meron ka ng say. Meron ka ng boses. Sa control, kung ano yung sinabi mo, yun na yun. Kinokontrol mo na sila. Kuha mo, significant influence, pwede ka na magsalita, may boses ka na, pero it doesn't mean na kung ano yung sinabi mo, yun yung gagawin ng iba. Kapag control, kung ano yung sinabi mo, kung ano yung decision mo, malakas yung possibility na yun na yung masusunod. Okay? Control ang meron doon. Kuha mo. Okay? So yan na, significant influence. So possible na meron kang right na mag-participate sa major decisions kahit na hindi mo ma-meet itong ownership requirements na ito. Okay? Okay. Ulitin ko, itong requirements, ownership requirement na to, these are just a presumption. Sige. Move on tayo ha. Sige. Si Jollibee, tama, merong shares. So, usapang equity shares tayo muna. Pahapyawan lang natin, pero mas madidiscuss natin to sa equity topic natin. Okay? For example, equity shares capital. Actually, yung equity shares na yan, most commonly dalawa yan. Meron kang ordinary shares and meron kang preference shares. Yung preference shares, pwede din yung tawagin as preferred shares. Pwede yun. Preference, preferred shares, parehas lang yan. Ngayon, if sinabi sa problem, nag-issue ng shares, hindi sinabi kung ordinary or preference shares, yung assumption mo, ito yung in-issue na shares. Silent. Okay? Kapag silent yung problem, hindi sinabi kung ano yung in-issue na shares, it's always an ordinary shares. Bakit? Kasi according to corporation law, a corporation cannot have a preference shares without ordinary shares. Okay? Hindi pwedeng mayroong preference shares nang walang ordinary shares. Lagi dapat mayroong ordinary shares. Okay, so kapag hindi sinabi kung ano yung shares na in-issue, always ordinary shares tayo. Okay? Sige. Ngayon, itong preference shares, from the word itself, preference, di ba? Kapag preference ka, preferent ka, preferred ka, meron kang priority. Okay, priority ka. In what? Priority ka to dividends. Okay, priority ka sa dividends, then priority ka in case of liquidation. So, usapang pera, usapang kita. Pag may kita si corporation, si Jollibee, tapos meron kang preference, tapos ang hawak mo preference shares, ikaw yung unang-unang mabibigyan ng dividends, preference shares. In case na mag-liquidate si Jollibee, malugi si Jollibee, tapos yung natira niya, for example, shareholders, yung equity ng shareholders it is amounting to 100,000. Yung asset is nasa 200,000. Yung liabilities is nasa 150,000. Tama ba? 200, 150, 350, 150, 250. Gawin na natin itong 250 pesos. Sige. 250 pesos para balance tayo. Yung asset po equals liability mo, 250. The same tayo. Asset is equal to liability plus equity. Ngayon, nag-liquidate ka, palugi ka na. Gusto mo nang matapos yung Jollibee. Gusto mo nang matapos yung buhay ni Jollibee, niliquidate mo si Jollibee. Ang ginawa mo, yung asset mo, binenta mo. Binenta mo yung asset, sold. Let's say for example, binenta mo, since palugi ka na nga, gusto mo na lang matapos, binenta mo na at 200,000 pesos. Magkano yung kailangan mong bayaran? 150 sa liabilities, creditors yan. Then shareholders mo, 100. So kulang, 250 dapat, 200 na lang yung asset mo. 200 na lang yung cash mo. Ano ngayon mangyayari dyan? Let's say for example, kapag ganyan na liquidation, always priority mo, number 1, ang unang-una mong babayaran dyan lagi, creditors. Pangalawa, yung shareholders. Ngayon sa shareholders, dalawa yan, it's either ordinary or preference. Yung una mong bibigyan, si preference. Yung ordinary, tira-tira na lang yan. Residual. Kung ano yung matira, yun yung paghahatian ni ordinary shares. Okay, ulit Binenta mo 200,000 ang unang priority mo in case of liquidation si creditors, yung liability. So bayaran mo yan, 150. So magkano na lang tira dito? 200 less 150,000, 50,000 na lang. Yung 50,000, una mong babayaran muna si preference shares. Pag may natira, ibigay mo yan kay ordinary shares. Yun yung priority. Yun yung preference. Yun yung preferred shares. Yun yung priority niya to dividends kapag may income and in case of liquidation. Since priority ka, sabi nga natin, hindi mo kayang makuha lahat ng gusto mo sa mundo. Pipili ka lang ng isa. Kung nakuha mo lahat, sobrang swerte mo na. Pero always take note, you can never get everything you want in this world. Lagi ka lang mamimili ng isa kung ano yung i-prioritize mo. Si preference shares ang pinariority, yung priority over the income and yung priority in case of liquidation. Anong disadvantage ni preference shares? Yun ngayon yung priority ni ordinary shares. Or yun yung advantage ni ordinary shares. Ano yung advantage ni ordinary share? Una, in case sumobra yung dividends, lahat yan paghahatian nila. So, anything that is left kay ordinary shares, lahat yan pupunta. Pangalawa, most common priority. Si ordinary shares, merong voting rights. Okay? Si ordinary shares, merong voting rights. Significant influence, usapang significant influence. Ano yon? Sino yung may power? Sino yung may boses? Si ordinary shares versus preference shares, sino yung may boses? Si voting rights. Okay? Yan yun. Sino may power sa kanila? Si ordinary shares. Kasi si ordinary shares may voting rights. And si preference shares, wala yan. Voting rights. Kuha mo. Kuha mo. Dapat nakuha mo ha. Sige. Kung sa relationship natin, si preference shares, meron kang ownership sa isang company. Yes, may label kayo. Yan si preference shares. May label kayo, sabi, kasi meron kang equity shares kay Jollibee, meron kang preference shares, yes, meron kayong label. Pero wala kang right to demand something. Wala kang right na magsalita or utusan or pakinggan ka nung jowa mo or nung kalabel mo. So ano to? Anong tawag nyo dito ngayon? Ang tawag ko kasi dati MU eh. Ano na ba ngayon? Hindi ko na alam. Bahala na kayo. Kabataan. Basta ganun. Preference shares, may right. Ikaw yung priority over income, over liquidation, pero wala kang voting rights unlike kay ordinary shares. So kapag hahanapin mo si significant influence, okay, kung hahanapin mo si significant influence, always take note, yung titignan mo lang yung may voting rights. Dito ka lang kay ordinary shares. So kung sabihin na natin, meron kang magkano yung authorized shares? Sabihin na natin yung authorized shares, tama, authorized shares ni Jollibee 100,000. Kuha mo dyan 20,000 shares. Pero yung 10,000 ordinary shares, then yung 10,000 preference shares. Ilan ownership mo? Sabihin na natin 20%, tama? Kasi 10 plus 10 divided by 100, 20%. Pero ang totoo, ano ba yung may voting rights ka? Yung 10,000 shares lang. Kung so yung significant influence mo or yung influence mo, 10% lang. Hindi yan significant. Okay? Nakuha mo? Kaya importante, malaman mo kung anong shares yung hawak mo. Okay? Yung equity shares, discuss natin kapag nasa equity topic tayo. Ngayon, itong preference shares na yan, possible kasi na may preference shares ka pero convertible. Okay, possible convertible yan. Ngayon, yung convertible preference shares, pwede mo kasi sabihin na yung preference shares mo, pwede mong i-convert, meron ganun as ordinary shares. Okay, so ano yan? Meron ka ngayon dyan, potential voting rights. Potential voting rights. Ngayon, kapag i-identify mo yung significant influence, always take note that potential voting rights must be considered. Okay, it must be considered. Sabihin na natin, i-continue natin yung illustration natin ha. 10,000 yung ordinary shares mo. So, 10% yung ownership mo or significant influence mo. Sabihin na natin yung preference shares mo na 10,000 din, may right ka to convert. Kahit hindi, okay, regardless if the potential voting rights are intended or you intend to exercise it or not, you still must consider it in identifying your significant influence. Okay, kahit na hindi mo intention na gamitin yung potential voting rights or yung convertible preference shares or yung conversion rights mo, na makuha yung ordinary shares kahit hindi mo intention na gamitin yun. Kailangan mo siyang i-consider para hanapin yung significant influence mo. So from which in this case, 10,000 yung ordinary shares mo, 10% yung voting rights mo. Pero pwede mong i-convert daw yung preference shares mo into ordinary shares. So 10%, tapos pwede pa, possible magkaroon ka ng 10%. So total mo, 20% voting rights. So meron ka ng significant influence. So let's apply the standard PAS 28 rather than PFRS 9. So ganun lang yun. Yun lang yung gusto kong iparating dito. Possible na meron kang potential voting rights. Yung potential voting rights, kailangan mo i-consider sa paghahanap kung meron ka bang significant influence. Pero take note, in computing, kasi mamaya naka-equity method tayo, in computing the equity method, yung potential voting rights mo are not considered in computing your shares sa dividends. Let's give an illustration. Sabihin na natin, 10% ordinary shares, 10%, 20% yung significant, yung influence mo. So, meron kang significant influence. So, yung accounting standards na gagamitin mo na PAS 28. Let's say, for example, si Jollibee, nag-declare ng dividends. Nag-declare ng dividends amounting to 1 million pesos. So, ilan shares mo dyan? Ang tanong. Choice A, 10% niyan, or choice B, 20% niyan. 20% yung ginamit mo para hanapin yung significant influence, 10% yung total ownership mo. Okay, anong gagamit or total ownership sa ordinary shares mo? Anong gagamitin mo? Ito lang, 10%. So, i-emphasize ko ulit, paghahanapin mo kung meron kang significant influence, gamitin mo yung potential voting rights. Pero kapag hahanapin mo na kung ilan yung share mo, for example sa income, or in case of liquidation, yung actual ownership lang yung gagamitin natin. Okay? Sige, sana malinaw yan. So, sabi natin kanina, significant PAS 28, we apply the measurement method of equity method. So, measurement principles tayo. Investment in associate. Okay, yung investment in associate, gawin na lang natin ay IA. Okay, IIA. Para shortcut tayo, okay, IIA. So, si investment in associate, initially, it must be measured at cost. Kung magkano yung binayad mo sa investment, yun yung measurement natin. Subsequently, we are going to measure it, or we are going to adjust the investment in associate at investors' share in equity share of investee. So, yan si equity method. Ito si equity method. Okay, si equity method, i-measure mo siya. Initially, i-measure mo siya at cost. Tapos, in case na mayroong adjustments sa equity shares si investee, kailangan nating i-reflect kung ilan yung share kay investor. Isipin mo lang muna itong definition natin na to. Okay? Ilagay mo lang muna sa tabi dyan para maintindihan mo yan. Magbigay tayo ng illustration or ipakita natin yung journal entry. Sige. Paano ba? Point of view ni investor. Then point of view ni investee. Si investor, ikaw yung nag-invest. Si investee, si Jollibee. So, lagyan natin si Mr. P. Ito si Jollibee. Initial measurement at cost tayo. So, yung entry mo kay Jollibee. Anong entry mo kay Jollibee? Siyempre, naka-receive yan ng cash. Debit yan ng cash. Magka-credit yan ng equity. Tama? Mag-i-issue yan ng equity. Ganyan. Kaya investor, anong entry mo dyan? Siyempre, debit ka ng investment in associate, credit ka ng cash. Okay, ito, always remember, initial measurement yan at cost tayo dyan. Let's say, for example, yung in-invest ni Mr. P kay Jollibee, dun sa illustration natin, magkano? 2 million pesos. Tama? So, dito, magde-debit ka ng investment in associate of 2 million pesos, credit cash of 2 million pesos. Ganun lang yun. Okay? Kung magkano yung binayaran mo, yun yung entry mo dito. Ito, magkano na-receive ni Jollibee? Siyempre, debit ka ng cash, tapos debit siya ng equity at 2 million pesos din. Very straightforward lang tayo. Okay? Ngayon, isa pa. Ano ba yung mga possible scenario na mababago yung equity ni investee? Ano? Sige, sa tingin nyo ano? Kapag meron tayong income. Tama? Income or loss. Kapag mayroong income, tataas yung equity. Kasi i-close mo yan sa retained earnings. Tama? Ngayon, itong income na yan. Since, sabi natin dito, subsequently, we need to adjust the investment in associate at investor shares in equity share of investee. Let's say, for example, si Jollibee nagkaroon ng income na 1 million pesos. So, ano magiging entry mo? Sa point of view ni, kasi magkakaroon ng equity section yan, tama? Magbabago yung equity section ni investee kasi nagkaroon ng income. Tataas yung equity ni investee. So, kailangan i-reflect natin yun sa investment in associate. So, kung tumaas yung equity, tumaas yung share ni investor kay investee. So, anong gagawin dito? Magde-debit ka ng investment in associate. Ano yung credit natin dyan, sir? Credit ka ng share in net income. Ganyan lang. Sir, magkano yung amount? Magkano ba yung income? 1 million pesos. Ilang ownership ulit kanina? Dun sa illustration natin, tama, 20%. So, i-reflect natin kung ilan yung share niya. 1 million times 20%, that is 200,000. So, mag-entry ka dito, debit ka ng investment in associate at the amount of 200,000, tapos share in net income of 200,000. Ganun lang, kasimple. Kailangan mo lang mag-debit or mag-credit ng investment in associate if ever tumaas yung share or equity ni Jollibee or bumaba yung equity ni Jollibee. Income yan. Paano, sir, kapag mayroong loss? Sabihin na natin, mayroong loss na 1 million pesos din. So, anong entry mo? Bumaba yung equity ni Jollibee, tama? So, dito, magki-credit ka ng investment in associate. Then, debit tayo. Anong debit? Kung kanina share in net income, dito, share in net loss. Debit ka ng share in net loss, magkano ulit yan? 200,000. Ganyan kapag net loss. Tama. Bumaba yung equity ni investee, ni Jollibee. Kailangan nating i-reflect na ibaba din yung investment in associate ni Mr. P. Yun yung sinasabi dito. Adjust the investment in associate at investor shares. Ano yung investor shares? From this illustration, 20%. In equity share of investee. Nagbago yung equity share. Nagkaroon ng income. Nagkaroon ng loss. Kapag income, iangat mo yung investment in associate kasi tumaas yung equity ni investee. Kapag loss, ibaba mo yung investment in associate kasi bumaba yung equity ni Jollibee. Ganun yun. Ano pa? Possible. Nag-declare ng dividends si Jollibee. Kapag nag-declare ng dividend si Jollibee, sabihin na natin at the amount of 100,000. Pag nag-declare ng dividend si Jollibee, anong entry mo dyan? Anong entry natin dyan ulit? Point of view ni Jollibee, ha? Debit ka ng... Sige. Ano? Sabihin na natin, nagbayad na. Debit ka ng dividends, expense, credit ka ng cash. Tama? At the amount of 100,000. Nagkaroon ka ng additional expense. Debit ka ng dividend expense, credit ka ng cash of 100,000. Yung dividend expense na yan, actually hindi siya dividend expense eh. Ang entry mo dyan, debit ka ng retained earnings talaga. Okay? Debit ka ng retained earnings equity section. Nag-debit ka. So, ano nangyari sa equity mo? Bumaba. So, anong gagawin mo dito? Sa investment in associate natin, kailangan nating ibaba rin. Tama? So, anong entry natin? Credit ka ng investment in associate kasi kailangan mong ibaba. Magkano? 20,000. Yung share mo doon sa dividends. 100,000 times 20%, that is 20,000. Ganun lang. Anong debit mo dyan? Ano ba na-receive mo? Cash. Debit ka ng cash. 20,000 pesos. Ganyan lang. Kapag dividends, yan lang. So, yan lang naman usually yung mga transactions na makaka-affect sa equity. Meron pang isa. Kapag nagkaroon ng changes sa OCI. Si OCI, Other Comprehensive Income, tama, equity section din yan. So, yan, kapag equity section, meron ka din changes dito. Kapag meron gain, itaas mo to, debit ka ng investment in associate, credit ka ng share in Other Comprehensive Income. Or share in gain, share on gain in Other Comprehensive Income. Pag bumaba yung OCI mo, nagkaroon ka ng loss, credit ka ng investment in associate, debit ka ng share in Other Comprehensive Income. Ganun lang yun. So, kung iti-T account natin yan, paano ba natin siya iti-T account? Tutuin natin ito. Para mag-reflect. Kung iti-T account natin siya, T account ni investment in associate. Initial measurement, ito, nag-debit ka ng investment in associate. Tama? So, at initially, maglagay ka dito, initial measurement at cost. Kailangan mo mag-debit ng investment in associate kapag initial measurement na dapat at cost. Naka-at cost, okay? Ano pa, yung possible na magkaroon ka, ito, sa income. Pag income ka, nag-debit ka ng investment in associate. So, kapag nagkaroon ng net income, si Jollibee, katandaan mo, merong debit sa investment in associate. Ano pa, net loss, tama, dito. Nagkaroon ka ng credit, loss. So, pag nagkaroon ka ng loss, mag-credit ka dito. Ano pa, dividends. Pag dividends, credit din, tama. So, credit ka ng dividends. Then, share in OCI. So, gain in OCI, debit ka. Then, kapag loss in OCI, credit ka. Tapos, masasolve mo dito yung ending balance ng investment in associate natin. Ganyan lang. Tatandaan mo lang tong T account natin. I-apply natin yan mamaya sa problems natin. Tandaan mo yan. Investment in associate, T account natin. I suggest, i-familiarize mo yung entry natin na to. Okay? Kasi ito lang naman. Ito lang. Dito ka mag-focus sa entry natin na to. Kasi dito mag-rotate or magre-revolve yung topic natin. Dito sa entry na to. Pag master mo tong entry na to, madaling-madali sa'yo si investment in associate. I guarantee that. Okay? Tapos tsaka mo, kabisaduhin yung T account. Kasi kapag alam mo na yung journal entry, kaya mo na yung i-plot dito sa T accounts natin. Okay? Sige. Last topic tayo. Meron lang other issues. Pag-usapang investment in associate. Okay? May mga other issues tayo dyan. Ano yon? Una, gain on significant influence. Yan. Gain on significant influence. Paano yan? Yan yung example natin kapag na-acquire natin yung significant influence in stages. Or it was achieved in stages. Tatandaan mo lang, kapag naka-gain, kapag achieved in stages tayo, always remember, yung application natin ng standard is at prospective. adjustment tayo. Okay. Prospective adjustment. The same yan sa number 2 natin. Pag number 2, pag nagkaroon ka ng loss on significant influence, yan, i-reclassify mo na ngayon. So dito, kailangan mo din gawin ito. Prospective adjustment tayo. So paano yung prospective adjustment, sir? Okay, paano yung prospective adjustment? So ito na naman tayo. Na-discuss ko na ito, no? Pag prospective adjustment sa government grants, pag prospective adjustment, mag-focus ka sa future. Okay, we are talking about future. So lahat ng changes, i-apply natin in the future. Pag respective or retrospective adjustment, lahat ng past, pati yung past na entries natin, kailangan nating i-adjust. Prospective adjustment, sa future tayo magbabago. Okay, doon tayo mag-re-repent sa future. Prospective adjustments. So yan yung dalawa, gain on significant influence, tapos pangalawa, loss on significant influence. Illustrate natin. For example, ulit, sa illustration natin, 20,000 shares pagmamayari ni Mr. P. Tama, ilan yan? 20%. Yung 20% merong significant influence. Okay, meron ka ng significant influence. Let's say, for example, next year, si Mr. P binenta yung 5,000 shares. Sold. Binenta yung 5,000 shares. So, ilan na lang shares niya? 20,000 less 5,000, 15,000 shares na lang. Ilan yung authorized shares ni Jollibee? 100,000. So, ilan na lang yung ownership ni Mr. P? 15%. So, from 20% na may significant influence, up to 15%, nasaan na yan? Regular investment na yan. Anong standard na gagamitin natin dyan? PFRS 9 na yan. Ano nang classification yan or measurement yan? At fair value na yan. Yun yung sinasabi na loss on significant influence. Biglang nawala yung ownership mo. Ang gagawin mo, prospective adjustment tayo. Okay. Kuha yun. Magre-reclassify lang tayo dito. Okay, dito. Tapos dito. Reclassification adjustment lang. Reclassification adjustment. Paano ang reclassification adjustment na naman yan, sir? Ano na naman yung sinasabi mong reclassification and adjustment? Before, merong ending balance yung investment in associate mo. Anong gagawin mo? I-reclass mo. So, anong gagawin mo? Credit ka. Credit ka ng investment in associate. Then, debit ka, investment at, hindi natin alam kung FVPL or FVOCI. So, gawin na lang natin, investment at PFRS 9. Debit ka. Ganun lang. Yan na. Significant influence. Kapag nag-loss on significant influence. Baliktad naman kapag gain on significant influence. Debit ka ng investment in associate. Credit ka ng investment at PFRS 9. I-reclassify mo lang din yan. Kuha yun. Sige. Last. Ito medyo madugo kasi ito na yung topic natin sa AFAR din, sa consolidation. Pero dito medyo madali lang ng konti. Meron tayong tatawagin na intercompany transactions. Okay, intercompany transactions. So, ano yung intercompany transactions? Usually, meron kang sale of PPE or inventory. Kanino? Kay investment or kay associate. Sige, illustration natin ulit. Si Mr. P, meron pagmamayari kay Jollibee. Si Mr. P, may pagmamayari kay Jollibee. Sabihin na natin, si Mr. P, biglang nagbenta ng inventory kay Jollibee. Okay? Biglang nagbenta ng inventory si Mr. P kay Jollibee. Sabihin na natin yung sale na yan, nasa 100 pesos. Ilan yung ownership ulit ni Mr. P? 20%. So, yung sale ni Mr. P kay Jollibee, pwede natin sabihin, yung sale na 20%, 20 pesos, binenta ni Mr. P sa sarili niya. Diba? Si Mr. P nagbenta kay Jollibee. Si Jollibee, pag may-ari ni Mr. P, yung 20% niyan. So, yung 100 pesos na inventory na binenta ni Mr. P kay Jollibee, 20 pesos nun, sale talaga ni Mr. P. Or kay Mr. P binenta ni Mr. P. So, sa sarili binenta ni Mr. P, yung 20 pesos ng inventory. Nakuha mo yon. Yun yung intercompany transactions. Nagbenta ka sa sarili mo rin. Okay? Okay. Ngayon, for investment in associate, as well as for consolidation purposes, nagbenta ka sa sarili mo, parang niloko mo yung sarili mo. So, dapat, kailangan mong i-eliminate yung entry na to. Kasi wala ka naman talagang sale na nangyari. Kasi kanino ka nagbenta? Sa sarili mo lang din. So, yan yung isang issue ngayon sa intercompany transactions. Kailangan mong i-eliminate yung mga transactions na yan. Okay? Huwag kang mag-alala, medyo madali pa to. Basta isipin mo, bakit kailangan mong i-eliminate yung intercompany transactions natin? Isipin mo lang, kasi si Mr. P nagbenta kay Jollibee. Si Mr. P may-ari ni Jollibee. So si Mr. P na nagbenta kay Jollibee, si Mr. P tuloy nagbenta rin sa sarili niya. Nagbenta ka sa sarili mo, niloko mo yung sarili mo. Nagkaroon ka ng sale, wala ka naman talaga dapat sale. Kuha mo yun? Sige. Ngayon yung sale na yan, regardless kung PPE or inventory, dalawa yan. Meron tayong upstream sale or downstream sale. Okay? Ano yung upstream sale? Sige, pag upstream sale, si Mr. P, which is si investor, and si Jollibee, which is si investee. Kapag upstream sale, si Jollibee nagbenta kay Mr. P. Pataas nga, upstream sale. Sino mas pataas? Si investor or si investee? Siyempre si investor. Kasi si investor, siya yung bumili kay investee. Okay, yun yung upstream sale. So si Mr. P na investor, pag bumay-ari niya si Jollibee. So kung si Mr. P, pag bumay-ari si Jollibee, sino mas mataas? Si Mr. P. Mas mataas si Mr. P kay Jollibee. Kasi si Mr. P, pag bumay-ari si Jollibee. So kapag si Jollibee na si investee nagbenta kay Mr. P, tatawagin natin yun as upstream sale. Yung downstream sale naman, si Mr. P yung nagbenta kay Jollibee. So, ganyan si downstream sale. Okay. Okay. Ito pa. Si Mr. P, ulitin natin yung illustration natin. Si Mr. P nagbenta ng inventory kay Jollibee. Tama. Ngayon si Jollibee, or si Mr. P, wala naman dapat sale na 20 pesos. So, overstated yung 20 pesos natin na yan. Okay? Itong 20 pesos, hindi na yan magiging overstated if si Jollibee na ibenta na yan sa outside party. Tatandaan mo. So, yan lang muna. Tandaan mo lang muna yan. I-apply natin yan sa problems natin. Okay, so for now, let's have a short break. I-absorb mo kung ano yung mga inaral natin, yung concepts, tapos i-apply natin later on sa handouts natin. Yan lang muna. See you later. Okay, hello again. Welcome back. Sige, sagutan natin. Bawasan lang natin yung illustrations. Ilang illustrations ba tayo dito? Hanggang illustration number 7. So, medyo marami. Pumunta tayo sa mga basic. Okay, illustration number 1. On January 1, 2025, Premium Company purchased 20,000 shares of the 100,000 total outstanding shares of Aura Corporation for 1 million pesos. 1 million pesos, yan yung cost. 20,000 shares, yan yung ownership. 10,000 or 100,000 yung total outstanding shares. So, ilan yan? Ownership neto, 20%. 20%, meron tayong significant influence. Kung may significant influence, apply natin si PAS 28. Ganun yan i-analyze. So, Aura Corporation's assets and liabilities approximate their fair values. in 2025, Aura Corporation reported net income of 3 million and declared and paid cash dividends of 200,000. Net income. Question, will this affect the equity of Aura Corporation? Yes. So, kailangan mo i-consider yan. Kailangan mo yung i-reflect doon sa investment in associate ni Premium Company. Cash dividends, pwede ba? Yes, tama. Doon sa illustration natin kanina, dividends sa T-account natin, meron yan. Naka-credit si dividends. 2025 daw yan. In 2026, Aura Corporation reported loss naman. Loss, will it affect? Yes din. Deduction yan, tama. And declared and issued 10% stock dividends. Nag-issue ka ng stock dividends. May entry ka ba sa stock dividends? Wala, tama. Memo entry tayo dyan. So wala. Yes, dividends, pero stock dividends, memo entry. So wala kang adjustment dyan. Ganun yan. Ganun lang yan. And madali lang to. And recognized gain on property revaluation of 500,000. Yung gain on property revaluation na yan, OCI yan actually. Okay, OCI yan. So, gain yan, OCI, makaka-affect ba sa investment in associate natin? Yes, kasi naka-affect yan sa equity section ni Aura Corporation. And the unrealized loss in FVOCI. OCI daw, loss 100,000. Will it affect? Yes din. Tama. So, entryhan natin. Isa-isa yan. On January 1, 2025, tama, nag-invest ka. January 1, 2025, nag-invest ka at a cost of 1 million pesos, 20%, significant influence. Ano entry mo? Debit ka, investment in associate. Credit ka ng cash at the amount of cost. Tama, sa cost tayo. Magkano yung cost? 1 million pesos. E, ganyan lang. Huwag kahirap-hirap. December 31, subsequent measurement. Ano yung mga entries natin? 2025, di ba? Nag-report ka ng net income. So, mag-debit ka ng investment in associate. Magkano? Magkano daw yung net income? 300,000. Yung 300,000 na yan, magkano yung shares mo? Share mo? 20% lang. Tama. Ito, 20% lang. So, times 20%, ilan to? 3 million times 20%, 600,000. So, mag-debit ka dito, investment in associate, credit ka ng share in net income of 600,000. Kung mapapansin mo, yung entry na ginagawa natin, yan din yung entry na diniscuss natin kanina. Okay, so ganun lang. Sabi ko sa inyo, i-familiarize mo yung sarili mo sa entries. Tapos, itong investment in associate na to, basic na yan. Kung magpapahirap na lang sa'yo dyan, yung mga other issues natin. Pero, kung mag-alala, kayang-kaya natin yan. Ano pa? 2025, nag-declare lang ng dividends, 200,000. So, anong entry mo dyan? Nakabawas yan sa dividends. Nakabawas yan sa investment in associate kasi bumawas yan sa equity section ni Aura Corporation. So, anong entry mo? Naka-receive ka ng cash. Magkikredit ka ng investment in associate. At the amount of, magkano? 200,000 daw. Ito na lang. 200,000 daw. At 20%, magkano to? 40,000. So dito, debit ka ng cash of 40,000, then credit ka ng investment in associate of 40,000. So yan yung entry natin for 2025. 2026. 12/31/2026. Ano nangyari? Nagkaroon daw ng loss. So, ano yung entry natin kapag nagkaroon ka ng loss? Debit ka ng share in net loss. Credit ka ng investment in associate. Magkano daw yung loss? 2 million pesos. Magkano share mo? 20% pa rin. 2 million times 20%. So, yung loss mo sa loss o yung share mo sa loss is nasa 400,000. So, debit ka dito ng 400,000 share in net loss, then credit ka ng investment in associate na 400,000. Ano pa? Stock dividends. Memo entry lang yan. Ignore mo na yan. Panggulo lang yan. Next, property revaluation. OCI yan. Tatandaan mo ha, pag may property revaluation, papasok sa OCI yung gain dyan. So, nagkaroon ka daw ng gain. So, anong gagawin mo dyan? Entryhan mo. Mag-increase ka ng investment in associate, tapos nag-credit ka ng share in OCI. At the amount of, ilan yan? 500,000. 20% yan, 500K times 20%. This is 100,000 ba? 100,000. Sige. Dito, 100,000. Ano pa? Isa pang transaction natin dito, unrealized loss in FVOCI of 100,000. So, anong entry mo dyan? Nagkaroon ka ng loss. So, bawasan mo yung investment in associate mo. Credit ka ng investment in associate. Credit ka ng share in OCI din. At the amount of 100,000 times 20%, 20,000. Ganyan. Yan yung entry for December 31, 2026. So, yun na yung requirement natin. Hinanap lang naman yung journal entries. Tagagalan natin ng additional. Gawa natin ng T account. Okay, para master mo na si T account kapag magsasolve ka ng problems. Okay, pag-isapang investment, PFRS 9, investment in associate, mag-T account ka lang. 2025 tayo. 2025 initial measurement, magkano? Nag-debit ka ng investment in associate. So, entry mo sa T account mo, saan yung debit? Nasa left side. Credit nandito. So, kapag nag-debit ka sa journal entry, ilagay mo sa debit side ng T account natin. So, ganun lang yun. Debit ka, 1 million pesos. Ano pa? Dito, nag-debit ka ng investment in associate na 600,000. So, lagay mo dito, 600,000. Nag-credit ka ng investment in associate na 40,000. Lagay mo dito, 40,000. Ganun lang. Reflect lang. Tapos yun na yung transaction natin ng 2025. Tama? So, at the end of 2025, yung ending balance ng investment in associate natin, pag tinanong sa problem, is nasa 1,560,000. 1 million plus 600 less 40,000, 1,560,000. Yan yung ending balance mo ng December 31, 2025. Hanapin natin si 2026. 2026, unang entry natin, nag-credit ka ng investment in associate at the amount of 400,000. So, credit ka ng 400,000 dito. Tapos, nag-debit ka ng investment in associate dito na 100,000. So, debit ka 100,000. Then, yung last, nag-credit ka ulit ng 20,000. So, credit ka ng 20,000. Tapos, hanapin natin, yan yung 2026 na ending balance ng investment in associate natin. 1,560,000 plus 100,000 less 400,000 less 20,000. This is equal to 1,240,000. So, kung tinanong, how much is the ending balance of investment in associate as of December 2026? Ang sagot mo, 1,240,000. T account lang, masasagutan mo na yan. Basta alam mo yung journal entries natin. Okay, madali lang, no? Mag-agree ka. Mag-agree ka, sabi. Very good. Next, illustration tayo. Illustration number 2. Mr. Jack Company acquired a 40% interest in ROG Company. 40% daw. Ano yan? Investment in associate na yan. Tama. Cost daw for 1,700,000. The shareholders' equity of ROG on January 1 and December 31, 2025 are as follows. Yung share capital mo daw is nasa 3 million ng January 1, tapos December 31, 3 million. Revaluation surplus, 1,300,000. Noong January 1, wala. Ngayon, naging 1,300,000. Ano yung revaluation surplus? Tama, OCI yan. Kung tumaas yung OCI mo, ano yan? Gain yan. Retained earnings, 1 million, naging 1,500,000. Tumaas yung gain, ano yan? Net income. Tumaas yung retained earnings, ano yan? Net income. Tama, net income yan. So, OCI, net income, meron kang mga transactions na kailangan i-reflect. Next, on January 1, 2025, all the identifiable assets and liabilities of ROG were recorded at fair values. ROG reported net income of 650,000 and paid dividends of 150,000 to shareholders during the current year. The revaluation surplus is the result of the revaluation of land recognized by ROG on December 31, 2025. Requirement: prepare the journal entries for the current year to recognize the transactions relating to the investment in associate. Letter B, determine the carrying amount of the investment in associate on December 31, 2025. Ano natin sasagutan yan? Habing tanong. Ang haba ng tinanong. Anong paano natin sasagutan? Entry lang tayo dito. Okay, entryhan lang natin ha. Sige. January 1, 2025. Nag-invest ka daw at the amount of 1,700,000. So entry mo, debit ka investment in associate, credit ka ng cash of 1,700,000. Yan lang. Ano pa? Subsequent measurement, 12/31/2025. Sabi dito, during the current year, nagkaroon ka ng income na 650, tapos paid dividends of 150,000. So dito, 650, tumaas, bumawas ng 150, net effect, tumaas ng 500,000. Tama, ito yun. Tumaas ng 500,000. Yun. Na-confirm natin na meron ka talagang net income na 500,000. Pero dito, diniversify lang, hinati lang. So kung i-entry natin yan, meron kang income na 650,000. So debit ka ng investment in associate, credit ka ng share in net income of magkano? 650,000, tama? 650,000 times, ilan share mo? 40%. Nasanay sa 20%. 40%. Magkano yan? Oh my God. 650 times 40%. Nasa 260,000. Yan na yan. Yan ang entry natin dyan. Ano pa? Nag-declare na ng dividends. Nagbayad ng dividends. So entry natin, naka-receive ka ng cash as an investor, tapos credit ka ng investment in associate at the amount of magkano? 150,000, tama? 150,000 times 40%, this is equal to 60,000 pesos. Oh, ganyan lang yan. Ano pa? Yun lang yung sinabi. Meron pa ba? Ito, revaluation surplus daw. Magkano yung revaluation surplus natin? 1,300,000. Magkano share mo dyan? 1,300,000 times 40%. This is equal to 520,000. So dito, OCI tayo. Nag-OCI ka. Gain yan daw. Debit ka ng investment in associate. Credit ka ng share in OCI at the amount of 520,000. Yan na yung entry natin. Nasatisfy na natin requirement letter A. Next, determine the carrying amount of the investment in associate. Paano yan? T-account lang tayo dyan. Walang kahirap-hirap. Investment in associate. Nag-debit ka ng 1,700,000. Ayan yun. Nag-debit ka dito, 260,000. Nag-credit ka dito, 60,000. Nag-debit ka dito, 520,000. Ending balance natin, 2,420,000. Yan na yan. Basic. Kuha yun. Ano nakuha? Sabi sa inyo, diba? Madali si investment in associate kapag alam mo yung entries. Tapos kapag na-master mo yung entries, mas madali yan kasi mag-TT account ka na lang. So, practice lang tayo. Practice lang ng practice hanggang ma-master natin. Okay? Ano ito? So, yung remaining illustrations natin, let's leave it like that. Tapusin muna natin yung discussion natin doon sa illustration number 2. Next meeting, let's discuss the remaining illustrations. Ulitin ko, i-absorb mo yung concept kanina, master mo yung sarili mo sa entries, tapos i-apply mo gamit yung T-account na para mas mabilis kang mag-solve pag-usapang investment in associate. So yun lang muna. Ciao! Have a good day. Keep safe, everyone. Babush!